What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. If you're new, what's up? First time Wednesday going live to connect with the YouTube fam. Shout out Alex is back. What's up? What's up? Hey, let me know where everybody's at. I wonder if we're going to have the usual crew, have some different people in here. Where are we at? Let me know. Warmere, what's good, player? What's up? What's up? We're going to be talking about a little bit about what's next for Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker today. We're going to talk a little bit about McGregor if he's coming back. We're going to touch base on the July 11th Fight Island card, talk about some picks, who's going to win. And I'm going to give you guys 3 money mistakes I made in my 20s. So real personal life mistakes I made when it comes to finances and money. So make sure you guys stick around because that's going to be some good stuff. Oh, we got Michigan in the house. East LA. Hell yeah, man. Canada. Yeah, Warmere's from Canada. What up? Liverpool, the UK. Ontario. Oh, man. Lozo says, am I ducking Artem Lobov? Yeah, man, I'm ducking Artem. He's the GOAT, the best fighter around. I wouldn't want to get in there with him. Jose, what's up? Imperial, California, man. Love it. Julian, Vegas is in the house. I love it, man. I love it. We almost had a tragedy this morning. I was getting ready to jump on the live stream with you guys, and I noticed I didn't have any rock stars in the fridge. Man, so I had to book it up to the store and grab one really quick, fire it up first thing in the morning. Welcome, everybody. London, UK's in the house. Bulgaria? What? Oh, man. Is Rockstar sponsoring me? Oh, man. I wish. I need to find somebody that's with Rockstar. I feel like I'm like one of their #1 customers. We can work something out. That'd be sweet. What's up, Jessica? Hey. Vince from the Philippines. What's up, Vince? Compton's in the house. I love it. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about some mistakes I made today, or made in my 20s. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to talk about a little Mike Perry. I think he's trying to get that fight with Nate Diaz, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. A little bit about Jorge Masvidal. I guess his coach was talking a little bit about his return as well, so we're going to touch on that. We got Ireland in the house. Yeah. Yes, it is a sugar-free rock star. Got to keep them calories low. I got a fight coming up. Man, my fight was supposed to be middle of July, and then it got pushed back till end of July, and then I just found out that it might be getting pushed back until August. So right now, guys, I'm just trying to keep my weight chill. It's got that sugar-free rock star, keep them calories down, and I'm just staying ready. Boston. What's up, Bob? Boston's in the house. Alex says, no need to watch your diet. GSP doesn't. He is the GOAT. Yeah, man. But George St. Pierre also is a freak genetically, and he doesn't cut much weight. So, yeah, man, he doesn't. Give everybody a couple more minutes, guys. We'll get started. Hey, happy hump day, too, to everybody out there. Hump day. Tim's in the house. Hey, and Tim's giving out great ideas for you guys. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button, folks. Just boom, drop that elbow on it. Hey, what do you guys think? I want to get your opinion. I was thinking about getting a slogan going for our YouTube fam here. And it can say something like, we'll fight for subs. Or we'll fight for subscriptions. Or we'll fight for likes. What do you guys think? You guys think that'd be a good one? A little slogan? I don't know. Yeah, we're almost at 30K too, guys. Man, we're growing quick, real quick. Well, yeah, we'll fight for subs. Oh, man. Yeah, we're almost at 30K. We're growing, guys. We're growing, man. Awesome. I feel like YouTube fam here is like we're different. You know what I mean? We're man, we just got it going on. We got a lot of spirit in our YouTube channel here, and yeah, man. Jose, what's up? What's up? Hey, happy Canada Day too to everybody that's joining us from Canada around the world. It's Canada Day. Shout out to you guys. I actually have a lot of family. My dad's whole side is from the Windsor, Ontario area. So yeah, we'll fight for subs. That's what it's looking like for a slogan. We have to get a coffee cup. We'll fight for likes. Uh Tuning in from Canada, Newfoundland. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Florida's in the house. Yeah. Awesome. Guys, let's take a moment too. What's something we're grateful for in our life right now? Let's start off with a little bit of positivity. What's one thing we're grateful for? Let me know. I'm grateful. This morning I woke up and I went for a nice jog down on the ocean. Man, the waves are kicking today. All kinds of surfers out there. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be by the ocean. And man, it's a Wednesday. I'm grateful to be healthy enough to go work out, get that in. Lewis is grateful for health, some family, health. Golf is back. Grateful for golf. I don't know about that one. I'm not a big golfer personally. I just like to go to the driving range a little bit, Happy Gilmore style, and crank some balls. But I'm not a big golfer. But somebody's grateful. KG's grateful for golf out there. Alex is grateful for Canada Day and no work. Nice, dude. That's sweet. So we can watch this stream. I love it. I love it. Grateful for freedom. Yes. Yes. Freedom. 100%. I mean, there's a lot of places where we don't have freedom, man. And, you know, here in the U.S., dude, we got a lot of freedom. We can say what we want. We can do what we want. It's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. There's nobody standing outside your door telling you when you can leave your house, when you can need to come and go. So, yes, being grateful for our freedom. That's huge. That's huge. Coming from Hong Kong. What's up, Lisa? Thankful to be vertical today. Thankful to work out. Thankful for the family came to the States from the U.S. Yes. Grateful for time, not having to work that 9 to 5. I agree, man. If for me, one big thing is freedom, and that's why we talk a lot about finances on this channel as well. Because if you understand finances and you take control of those, what money and finances leads to is financial freedom, guys. And I mean, who doesn't want financial freedom? You can wake up every day. You don't have to go work for money. You have your money working for you. You can choose to spend time with your family. You can choose to go work out. You can choose to jump on live streams on YouTube like this. You can choose to drop elbows on that like button. But yeah, I mean, money, finances, it's something I think we need to take responsibility for, and it can change your life for the better. You know, I love and I love talking about finances, real estate, investing, fighting. So it's the best of both worlds. Yeah, no 9 to 5, no 9 to 5. I agree. No, I don't want a job. I mean, I'm not against anybody that wants the job, but for me, I would much rather be my own boss. I would have the freedom to make my schedule. And I just like freedom. You know what I mean? We're talking about freedom in the U.S. We're talking about freedom to say and do what we want. Well, how about we take that to the next step? And when you master your finances, you master your the financials, then you can take it to the next step and choose your freedom every day. Oh, students of jiu-jitsu coming in with hitting the super chat. Shout out students of jiu-jitsu, and shout out behind me right here, our defending super chat champion, Ethan Coffey. Man, he was killing it last week. If anybody's got questions, just like student of jiu-jitsu did, make sure hit that super chat. And awesome. Let's see what he has to say, guys. What'd you think of Mike Perry's girlfriend cornering him? Great question. I love it. I love it. I think for Mike Perry, I think it's awesome. I think that's perfect for Mike Perry. It's all about perspective. Students of jiu-jitsu, each fighter is different, and depending on which fighter, what they need in their corner, that's up to them. And I think Mike Perry, I think he's at a place where he needs simple advice in his corner. Hey, here's your water, here's some ice, and on top of that, I feel like he doesn't have to pay cornermen. He's saving money. He trusts his girlfriend. He loves his girlfriend, and he having her there, that motivates him, and it obviously worked out for him, students of jiu-jitsu, because he had a great performance. He beat Mickey, and I feel like if it works for him, use it. But compared to all the other fighters, I don't think a lot of fighters can do that, what Mike Perry's doing. I think it's only a select few, and I see a lot of benefits also from having your coaches and a training partner, somebody that sweats with you every day, somebody that bleeds with you in training and everything. So for me, I would much rather have my head coach there, somebody that I've been training with, compared to my girlfriend. I love her to death, my wife. I love her to death, but she can enjoy the fight from the front row. So that's my take on it. Alex coming back in. So Alex hit the super chat, guys, and let's see what he has to say. Would you consider taking payment to give out one of your corner spots? Oh, man. So Alex is bringing up a point. I made a post, and Josh Thompson was talking about it, that fighters, imagine this. Imagine you're fighting on a huge card, right? And you get 3 cornermen that can come corner you, and you get 3 of them. So imagine if you went to eBay and you put up an auction that said, hey, who wants to be in Myles Jury's corner on this, UFC pay-per-view card? I'm the 3rd fight on the main card in a packed arena on a pay-per-view card. Who wants to be in my corner? Let's set an auction for it. I personally love the idea. Why not? Especially if you have 2 cornermen that you trust and that's all you need, and you have an extra slot. Alex, I love the idea, man. I love the idea. I think it's an extra way for fighters to make money. I wouldn't see I think if UFC seen fighters making money, like let's say somebody was like, oh, I'll give you 10 grand, $20,000 to be in your corner. I think if UFC seen that, they might be like, oh man, this guy needs to buy a seat to us. And they might start shutting it down, Alex, not letting people be in corners. But I really think it could be if you're first to the table with it, I think you could make some money, and I love the idea. And great question, Alex. Shout out, Alex. So Evan's crushed the super chat too right here, guys. He's got a great question. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Myles, what was your experience at like TriStar? I live in Toronto, and I plan on moving to Montreal to train MMA. Any tips once I'm there? So first off, Evan, man, it's a great idea smashing the super chat. Appreciate the support at the channel. And my experience at TriStar, Evan, was great. I think TriStar is one of the top 5 MMA gyms in the world. You have Faraz Sahabi, the great head coach. You have amazing jiu-jitsu players there. You have a great big pro team to train with. They actually have dorms as well. So if you need a place to live, you can set up living arrangements. Jeremy actually runs those. Jeremy's a real cool guy. And it's a no-nonsense gym, guys. Like Evan, we worked out hard when we were there, training in the morning, training at night, eat, sleep, train. And then also, too, Evan, you're in Montreal, so a lot of stuff's walking distance from the gym. So I think it'd be a great fit for you if you really want to take that next step, Evan, and you want to become pro and you want to get that feel of what it's like training with high-level pros. Because at TriStar, you have GSP, Joe Duffy's there, just a lot of guys coming in and out that are high-level fighters, and you can learn a lot from it, Evan. So I would definitely suggest going there and setting it up. So any tips once you're there? I would just take it slow, Evan. I would kind of, when you go there, have some goals you want to hit. What are you looking to get out of it? So that way you have some stuff to work towards while you're there. And man, once you're there, just enjoy yourself. That would be the biggest tip. Enjoy it. It's good training. All right. Love it. You guys are killing it. Yeah, Kevin Lee's at TriStar as well. There's a lot of guys at TriStar. I mean, one of the top 5 gyms in the world. I love it. I love it. So let's start with what's next for Dustin Poirier. I feel like ever since the fight this weekend, that's all everybody's been talking about. And Chael Sonnen just did a video a couple of days ago talking about, is this the best round in the fight game? And Chael Sonnen brought up a point saying he's an ESPN analyst, he's an ESPN broadcaster, and during that fight, 100,000 new fans were coming into the sport, and they know who Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker is. And he was making the point and saying, guys that are sitting out, nobody asks questions about Conor. Nobody asks questions about Jorge Masvidal. These are 100,000 new fans to the sport that tuned into that Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier fight. And he was kind of basically, the way I took it, was coming out and saying, this sport is moving so quick and evolving so quick that nobody cares who you were in the past. All that matters now is these new fans and what's happening at the cutting edge. So basically, sitting out, demanding more money is the way I'm taking it. Really doesn't help. It's kind of what he was saying. And he has a great point when it comes to that. With that Dan Hooker and Dustin Poirier fight, man, that brought a lot of new eyes into the game, and it was such a great fight that a lot of people know who Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker is now. 100,000 is what the number Chael Sonnen said. I would also say, though, is that you're looking at it as a perspective of that's 100,000 new fans that might know Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker, but you're also not taking into the account that there's millions of fans that are watching this sport that for sure know who Conor McGregor and Jorge Masvidal are. So I really don't agree with the aspect of you're totally get forgotten if you sit out. Obviously, if you're fighting and you're having great fights, people are going to know who you are. You're going to be more talked about, a la Dan Hooker, Dustin Poirier. But that doesn't negate the fact that people are forgetting who Conor McGregor and Jorge Masvidal is. So I thought it was a good point. The game is constantly changing, and you need to stay relevant. You need to stay out there because it's such a young sport that there's so many new fans that are coming into it. And Chael even brought up a great point, and he said a lot of people don't even know who Chael is anymore. And he has, I believe, the second best pay-per-view behind Conor. Conor beat him. So that just shows right there, nobody cares. Not nobody, but a big volume of this sport, of the fans, they keep an eye on and they follow who's fighting and who's winning is I believe a lot too. And a great point of that is Rich Franklin, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz. I mean, these guys that are legends, at least to me. I grew up, I know who they are. I'm a diehard, MMA fan. I've been around this sport 10, 20 years. And to me, these guys, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, Rich Franklin, those are some the best guys to ever do it. And nobody ever talks about them anymore. You don't ever hear much about them at all. Tito, you hear a little bit about him, but I mean, Chuck Liddell, you really don't hear much about. Rich Franklin, if you look him up, on Instagram and social medias, compared to some of these other guys that are new, I mean, more people are following, certain fighters nowadays compared to somebody, a UFC champion like Rich Franklin. So there is definitely an evolving form of this game. Constantly people are coming into the game and getting lots of attention, and that's definitely a point to be made. And I think Chael, crushed that. All right, so Dustin Poirier, what's next for him? I believe Dustin Poirier needs to fight Conor McGregor for a rematch. Here's why. Dustin Poirier is coming off of a win. Dustin Poirier is coming off of a title shot with Khabib. Dustin Poirier is coming off of possibly a fight of the year with Dan Hooker, and he won. Now you look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is coming off a win. Conor McGregor beat Donald Cerrone. Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor. So I know a lot of people are trying to say, look, Ferguson needs to get out there and fight Poirier. I don't think so. How are you going to match up Ferguson with Poirier? Ferguson's coming off of getting dominated by Justin Gaethje. It's hard to put somebody that's coming off of a huge impressive win against somebody that's coming off of a huge impressive loss. That's not to say that I'm not interested in the fight. I would love to see the fight, right? I mean, Poirier versus Ferguson, that'd be a banger. I agree. I would love to see it, right? But to me, I feel like it makes more sense marketing wise and getting these guys to that next fight and back into that title contention by Poirier versus McGregor. They're both coming off wins. McGregor already beat Poirier, so nobody could say McGregor doesn't deserve a shot at Poirier right now because he's already beaten him. And on top of that, Poirier's coming off of one of the best wins this year, possibly. I mean, that fight was just insane. So to me, Poirier fights Conor. Winner of that gets the next shot at Khabib and Gaethje, whoever wins that. And Ferguson fights Hooker. I feel like that's a nasty fight right there. Dan Hooker versus Tony Ferguson. That's an insane fight. And I feel like it makes more sense. They're both coming off of losses. They both are exciting. Obviously, you have Ferguson, who was on the biggest win streak in the UFC lightweight division. You have Dan Hooker, who number 5 in the world, who just almost beat Poirier. He lost 3 rounds of 2. So it makes a lot of sense for me, guys. I really see that those are the next fights for Poirier and Hooker. Oh, Eddie the Blastin coming back in. Eddie smashing that super chat, man. Anybody that's got specific questions, make sure to hit that super chat. Shout out Eddie Blastin, and let's see what Eddie's asking right now. So you're saying you don't believe Conor is retired? Oh, Eddie, I don't think so. I really don't think Conor McGregor's retired. He's retired and came back so many times. He's a master of marketing. He's very emotional and kind of like tells you how he feels. And I think maybe at this moment, maybe these last couple of weeks, I think he's just tired of the game and he's kind of like, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm retiring. But I'll tell you this. I feel like if, UFC gets cranking again, I feel like the Gaethje Khabib fight goes through. I feel like, UFC offers Conor the right terms. I see Conor coming back out of nowhere and saying, all right, I'm coming back. I'm going to get that belt back. Because another thing I think Conor, it rubs him the wrong way, man, is he lost. You know what I mean? He lost to Khabib. As a fighter, as a warrior, as a competitor, if you have a chance to get that back, and on top of that, Conor can make money. He'll beat Conor. He'll kill it. But I think deep down inside, getting that opportunity to either knock out Gaethje or knock out Khabib, man, I think he really wants that, stuff's got to come together. Terms have to come together, but I really see Conor coming back. So, yes, great question. Eddie the Blastin. Shout out Eddie coming in with those great questions. Yeah. Conor can fight a random guy in the street and get paid millions by the UFC. There's no point of retirement at this moment. I don't know if UFC would pay him millions of dollars to fight somebody in the street, but Conor's Conor, So when people say, so I wrote a comment on one of UFC's pictures on their Instagram, and it was Poirier, and they said, "What's next for the Diamond?" And I said, "Conor McGregor rematch." And a lot of people chimed in and were like, Conor doesn't deserve it. Conor needs to do this. Conor needs to do that. People forget, guys, that Conor is Conor. Conor chooses who he wants to fight. Trust me, UFC, if Conor is really motivated and wants to fight somebody, they will give Conor the fight. They will. Granted, Conor, yes, he cannot come off 7 losses and fight for the title. Like, I get that. But with Conor coming off of a win right now, even if it's, Cerrone, people are saying, hey, Cerrone's this, Cerrone's that. Doesn't matter. Conor's coming off of a win, and that's all UFC needs to throw him in there with anybody. Alex coming back in, crushing that super chat. Alex and Ethan are defending champion. These guys were going at it last week with the super chats, getting the title. You'll be featured in a video, a live stream. And man, so Alex is back, and he's going for that Super Chat Championship today. Let's see what he's got to say. Were you and Jeremy waiting outside of Conor's hotel after he said, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Or sorry, who the F is that guy? No. I think honestly, I think that comment has actually helped Jeremy's career a ton. I know, you might not think, or coming off, or you might take it personally, but I really think that comment like really put people to know who Jeremy is. Even though he gets a lot of stuff, everybody always says that, who the F is that guy? It was a great line by Conor. Man, Jeremy gets a lot of talk out of it. So no, we weren't waiting out the hotel. Nothing against them. And I know Jeremy fired back after that with a couple of pics of Conor's mother. I remember. So yeah, but that's what I believe is next for Conor. That's what I believe is next for Hooker. So what about Mike Perry saying he'll beat up Nate Diaz's skinny body, right around those terms? Mike Perry is trying to get a fight right now with Nate Diaz, and I love it. I love it. I think it's a great play by Mike Perry. I think it's a great fight all around. Do you guys think Mike Perry has a chance against Nate Diaz at 170? I think so. I think he has a great chance. Diaz will school Perry. Perry beats Diaz in a 3-round fight. Yeah. I mean, possible. Yes, for sure. No. So we got a little mixture. Some people think that Perry and Diaz will be competitive. Some people think Perry doesn't have a chance, and some people think that Perry will beat him. I first off tops, I think it'd be an entertaining fight, guys. I think obviously Perry's going to stand in there, try and bang. Obviously Nate Diaz, he's so long. He's got such good boxing. I would love to see it. I think it makes sense. The real question, though, is Mike Perry obviously wants this fight with Nate Diaz, right? Mike Perry, he's got a lot of steam behind him, and now he's throwing out Nate Diaz's name out there, saying he would beat him just like he did Mickey Gall. And the question is, though, does Nate Diaz want to fight with Mike Perry? Does Nate Diaz believe Mike Perry is on his level? Does Nate Diaz believe that Mike Perry deserves a shot at Nate Diaz? And on top of that, I really think that it comes into money. Is this a money fight? Is this a money fight between Mike Perry and Nate Diaz? Because Mike Perry, man, is blowing up. He really is. He's getting a lot of steam. Obviously, Nate Diaz is Nate Diaz. Fans love him. He's got a huge following. And, I think this is a good money fight for both guys. I think exciting-wise, I feel like stylistically, I just feel like it's a great fight all around. Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz, main event. Winner gets a shot at Jorge Masvidal for the BMF title. Let's go. That's my take on it. I wonder if UFC will pay him, though. UFC will pay him the money fight for this one. Yeah, I think Mike Perry. I think Mike Perry can bang up Diaz a little bit. It depends if Diaz stays long and stays crisp. I feel like it'll be a good matchup for Diaz. Obviously, if the fight goes to the ground, Diaz has got a huge advantage there. Even though Perry showed really, really good jiu-jitsu against Mickey Gall, took him down, controlled him. So I'm interested, man. I want to see Mike Perry and Nate Diaz. I hope Nate accepts the fight. I hope they put it together sooner than later. Mike Perry's got a huge steam behind him right now. And, man, pay the guys what they deserve. And let's see this fight. The fans obviously want to see it. I mean, who doesn't want to see Mike Perry and Nate Diaz go at it? I think it's a good one. Nate is a Homer Simpson style. It depends how Nate fights, man. Look, Nick's in here. And was that Nick Diaz Nick 202? Nick 209, Stockton in the house. Yeah, it depends on how Nate fights. If Nate stays there and takes shots by Perry, I mean, Perry could get a lot of damage off on Nate. But if Perry, stays right in front, Nate stays long, bop, 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 puts him against the cage, clinches him, knees him. I see Nate having his way with Perry. That's what I see. Yeah, yeah. So Jeff said, imagine the talk building up to that one. I mean, imagine that, right? You have Mike Perry just so raw, speaks how it is. Have his girlfriend in the corner. Imagine the corners, right? Because every time Nate fights, it's like a battle of cornermen. You have all of his people battling whoever the other cornerman is. So you would have Mike Perry's his girlfriend versus what is it? Jake Shields, Gilbert, Nick, all those guys. So cornerman versus cornerman. Obviously, Nate's gonna win that one. But fight wise, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Oh, Alex coming in. Alex is crushing the super chat today, guys, with some good questions. I saw Chad Mendes talking smack about Bisping a few weeks ago. I think Bisping would destroy Mendes. Do you think Mendes can take Bisping? I don't believe so. Nah, I mean, Bisping's too big, man. I mean, yeah, that's what I think. I mean, Chad is going to obviously stand his ground and defend himself and say what he wants. But, I mean, if it came down to a fight, it just wouldn't be fair. I mean, Bisping is just too big. That's like you see the video, Alex, of Werdum and Tony Ferguson, those guys getting into it. Like, I love the aspect that Tony doesn't back down. I love the aspect Chad doesn't back down. But if you're a 185-pounder or a heavyweight, and even if a 35-pounder or a 45-pounder is talking crap to you, in my opinion, like, you should never, like, bring it to the point where it's about a fight. Like, to me, that's just like a bully mentality. Let the little guy say what he wants. So yeah, I don't think Chad Mendes can take Bisping at all. I think Bisping would defend the takedowns. I think Bisping would keep him at range and light him up on the feet, and just too big for him. So shout out Alex though. Alex so far super chat champ. Make sure anybody's got specific questions, hit that super chat. Nick Diaz just jumped into the chat right here, guys. Nick Diaz. He must have heard us talking about Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry fight. Yes, I'm fighting soon. I'm fighting. So my next fight, guys, it was supposed to be this month, mid-July. And then it got pushed back to end of July. And obviously with all the pandemic going around in the world right now, cases are going up, businesses are closing back down. My fight is getting pushed back to, it looks like, the beginning of August. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I'll let everybody know when my fight is, where it's going to be, as soon as I know. So as soon as I find out, I will let you guys know 100%. But right now I'm just staying training, man, keeping my weight down. I went for a run this morning. Just training. I've been in camp since February, when I beat Gertz, and then I helped Jeremy Stevens fight Cater. And since then, I've still been training. So I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. Thank you, Devin. Praying, man. Gracias, amigo, man. Yes. So right now I'm training, but I'm staying fresh, guys. Like, I'm taking care of my body, and I'm not just training all day, every day, burning myself out. I'm staying fresh. I'm in the zone, and I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I feel like this next performance for me is going to be a great one. I feel like beating this guy, I'm going to be right there where I need to be. I'm going to make some extra money. I'm going to be able to renegotiate my contract after this fight, and everything's just going to be good. And at the same time, man, I'm in my prime. I mean, I'm 31 years old. I'm getting better. I had the best performance. New day. I'm fresh. So I love it, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to put on for you guys and go out there and have a great performance, and give a shout out to the YouTube fam. I'm thinking about getting our YouTube on my fight shorts. What do you guys think? How cool would that be, huh? Represent for the YouTube fam out there in the cage. Oh, Eddie's coming back. Eddie the Blastin coming in with another super chat, man. Eddie and Alex are going at it today. Let's see who's going to get that super chat championship. So Eddie, he's got a question. Let's see what he says. How do you adjust your camp when your fight gets pushed back? How do you peak at the right time? So Eddie, great question. So Eddie's asking, how do I adjust my camp since my fight keeps getting delayed? Um, First things first, take a hit of that Rockstar. So first thing, Eddie, what I did is I called my head coach, Eric Del Fiero. And I said, Eric, look, here's what's going on. My fight's getting delayed. And so we look at the schedule and we say, look, you have another 6 weeks of training, man. That's basically a whole nother camp. So what we talked about is reminding myself, look, I'm already in shape. I'm not going to lose that. I've been training jiu-jitsu and wrestling my whole life. So the skills are ingrained in me, Eddie. So I'm not going to lose that. And all we do is he said, hey, this week, take it light. If you want to go get some workouts, do it. But nothing crazy. Just maybe get one 45-minute workout in a day. And if you feel like taking a day off, go ahead. Just trust that I'm right where I need to be. And the only thing we need to keep an eye on, Eddie, is my weight, because I don't want to have weight issues. I want to make sure I'm still dieting. So that's how I adjust. I just taper back on the training a little bit, stay healthy. And so Eddie also asked, guys, how do I peak at the right time? Which is a great question. So usually it's 3 weeks on, 1 week off is usually like a good idea of how to peak. So you go 3 weeks heavy, and then you have a recovery week is what they call it, Eddie. And that's basically what I'm keeping an eye on. I'm going hard a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then I'll have a recovery week. And so before my fight, right? So I'll go hard 3 weeks before it, and then that last week, the week of my fight, I go light that week. So by the time the fight comes around, I'm ready to peak. I'm not overtrained. I'm fresh. I'm ready to rock. So great question, Eddie. Eddie the Blastin. I like it. Oh, and we have another super chat. Look at Coda coming in. Would training help with fear during fights? Coda, yes. That is. We had a question last week on the live stream, and it said, how do you deal with nerves, Coda? And this is how you deal with nerves. I stated it as you train. When you train hard and you work out and you prepare physically, mentally, emotionally, and you put that work in during a training camp, the fight's easy. So the fight is what gives you, or the training camp is what gives you the calm, the nerves, and calm any fear, because you're prepared, Coda. So yes, the training really helps with fear for the fight. Great question. Awesome. I love it. If anybody's got specific questions, make sure to hit the super chat. So I wanted to bring up today, Geoff Neal. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I might not be, but Geoff Neal is top 10 ranked 170 pounder in the UFC. He's beaten Mike Perry. He's beaten I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. He's beaten a couple of good welterweights, and he's top 10 in the world. And I read an article that he stated, guys, that he has to go back. Geoff, Alex, thank you for helping me. Geoff Neal. He has to go back to work at Outback because he doesn't have money. Basically, he stated in the article that fighters aren't accepting fights. UFC hasn't given him a fight, so he has to go back to Outback and work as a server to make money, to make ends meet. And to me, that one hit home to me, man, because you're top 10 in the world at 170. You're signed with the biggest promotion, basically the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. But you still have to go work at Outback, man, to have money, and I get, guys aren't accepting fights and UFC's having a hard time matching them up. So it isn't like a shot at UFC. I'm not hating on them or anything like that. It's just a real life scenario for a guy that's in Neal is in that position that he shouldn't be, man. He should be paid enough to where he doesn't have to go back to Outback and work as a server. I respect the hustle. I respect him doing whatever he has to do to make ends meet. But I hope my man gets paid soon. I hope he he wins his next fight, gets a new contract, and gets paid, dude, because that's crazy. That's crazy, man. I believe he's like 5-0 in the UFC. Again, he's got wins over Mike Perry. Let me pull him up really quick. I'll tell you guys exactly who he's got wins over. One second. I'm pulling up his record right now. Geoff Neal. Hands of steel. This dude knocked out Mike Perry in like within a minute. So he head kicked and knocked out Mike Perry in 1:30 his last fight. He beat Nico Price, who's actually a really solid welterweight. He beat Bilal Muhammad, who's actually a really good welterweight as well. No pushovers. Frank Camacho. I mean, this guy's 5-0 in the UFC, and he has to go back to Outback to serve, to make money. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I don't know if what he spends his money on. I don't know what he brings in financially. But man, he should not have to do that. Especially 5-0 in the UFC, top 10. He just beat Mike Perry. He should be able to fight for a living. Like that's his main source of income. So I thought that was weird. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, Neal's the only guy to KO Mike Perry. Yeah, man. He dominated Mike Perry. Yeah. It's pronounced. Is it just Jeff? Is it Jeff Neal? Is that how you pronounce it? It's pronounced Jeff, LOL. It's just spelled funny. Oh, man. Okay. Jeff Neal. Oh, man. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah. Probably 10 to show, 10 to win. I don't know what he's got. He gets paid, guys. I would have to look it up. So Coda is hitting that super chat, guys. Let's answer and see what Coda has to say. I get emotion problems in fights. How can I handle? Again, Coda, train, man, train. And at the same time, understand, Coda, that it's a fight. You're gonna have emotions. You're gonna feel different things. Don't hold on to those so heavy. Let them go. Trust yourself, trust your training, and the emotions are going to be there, man. Just let them go. Be in the moment. Trust your training. Trust your coaches. Train hard, and that's your best way to overcome those emotions. Oh, Beatdown's coming in. Let's see what Beatdown's got to say. Shout out Beatdown, crushing that super chat. Hi, Myles. Do you think fight gyms costs hinder the sport's growth? So Beatdown. So gyms usually charge 10%. Do you think gym costs hinder the sport's growth? I do not. So I believe that the fees that the gym charges the fighters, I believe it's a good thing. I believe it's a good expense because these are the gym is the people getting you ready. You know, this is the people that are putting in hours of work, are going to the fight with you, are basically you're the product and they're helping the product be as best as it can. So I don't think it hinders the sport's growth at all. I don't think it really affects it too much either. If anything, I look at it as just a business expense, but it's a very good business expense that the fighter needs. Remember, guys, the fighter is the product. Like we are our own business. The UFC is its own business. And when it comes down to it, the sport's growth, no, I don't believe gym fees really hinder that at all. I believe there's other things that hinder the sport's growth, but not gym fees. But great question, Beatdown. Great question. Oh, what do we have? I think we had Jeff. Jeff hit the super chat, I believe, but I didn't see what your question was, Jeff. So make sure to drop it in again and let me know. So yeah, guys, I thought that was weird about Jeff, man. Blessings to him. I hope he gets a fight soon. I hope he doesn't, he can be in a financial position soon that he can stop working at Outback. He can go train full-time, fight, put money away, take care of himself, set him and his family up. Yes. So also, John Kavanagh, Conor McGregor's head coach, he stated recently that Conor McGregor is retired, and I can't convince Conor to do beep regarding a comeback. So right now, guys, Conor's head coach is basically saying, "Hey, he's not coming back. I cannot do anything for him to come back." Yeah. So right now, it doesn't look like Conor's coming back, but we all know how that goes. I think easily Conor could jump in any day now, boom, and say, "Hey, I'm back. I'm fighting Gaethje. I'm fighting Jorge Masvidal. I'm fighting Poirier." So that was in the news. And speaking of Masvidal, his head coach Mike Brown recently has stated, this is Jorge Masvidal's head coach, Mike Brown, American Top Team. Once Jorge Masvidal is paid the money he's worth, then we'll have a welterweight champion. Ooh. So Mike Brown's sticking to the guns with Jorge, basically saying he needs to be paid. So you know how that goes right now. Jorge's sitting out, still waiting to get the pay that he feels he deserves. And I hope it happens sooner than later, man. I hope Jorge Masvidal and the UFC, they can come to terms. I see both sides to it. Obviously, UFC is a business, but Jorge Masvidal is in his own business as well. And Jorge Masvidal is he's a huge name, man. BMF champ, coming off a huge win over Nate, knocking out Ben Askren with that knee. I mean, come on. Jorge Masvidal is a big name right now, and I hope they pay him sooner than later. That's what I hope. So let's talk about July 11th, Fight Island. Let's talk about these 3 main card title fights. We got 3 title fights on this card. So let's start off with Burns versus Usman. Burns versus Usman. Who's going to win and how? This one's tough because these guys are both so good. These guys are, I feel like they're very close neck and neck. You know, when it comes to striking, athleticism, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, I give the advantage in wrestling to Usman. I give the jiu-jitsu advantage to Burns. But being a betting man, this is kind of like one of those fights where it's a little tough to say because you could make a case for either or. But for me, I would bet, if I was betting and who I think is going to win, I'm just leaning towards Usman. I feel like Usman is going to be a little stronger. I feel like Usman can kind of dictate where the fight goes. I feel like Usman's got a little more pop on his strikes. But with that being said, I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Usman. I think Burns is hungry. He's coming out hard. He wants to rock and roll. I see it being a good fight, honestly. And the weird thing about this fight, guys, is that Usman and Burns, they've trained together a lot. And that right there is like, it'd be like me fighting Jeremy Stevens. It'd be a sick fight. But here's the thing is, like, I've trained with Jeremy so much that we kind of cancel each other out. Like, I know what he's trying to do, and he knows what I'm trying to do. So a lot of times it's like almost like we cancel each other out. So you know how when you see a fight, sometimes just the art of surprise, like not knowing what the other guy's going to do, makes it exciting. I wonder about this fight with Usman and Burns, that because they've trained together so much, if they're going to cancel each other out, will it be a boring fight, or are they just going to throw caution to the wind and chuck bombs? Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. Who do you guys think is going to win? You think Usman or do you think Burns? Let me know. And we're going to talk about the Aldo and Jan fight too. What's up, Jay? Usman and Colby fight, man, was nasty. I rewatched that the other day. I wish Colby didn't break his jaw because that was super competitive. Burns, yeah. Make sure anybody's got some specific questions, hit that super chat. I'm just kind of going off of the schedule for today. So Burns, Usman, Hardy fame. Usman will keep it standing and piece him up. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. Yeah, Colby had a broken jaw in their last fight. Edward broke his jaw. I want to say in the third or the fourth, dude. And yeah, Usman's training with Gaethje. Yes, he is. Usman's coming in prepared. Burns, we think Burns is better on the ground, somebody said. The judo George Burns, okay. Oh, Beatdown's coming back in with another question. How hard do you spar preparing for a fight? Beatdown, great question, man. Shout out Beatdown. I spar hard getting ready for a fight. I do probably 4 to 6 weeks of actual sparring, and usually it's once a week hard beatdown. I wear protective gear though, 16-ounce gloves, headgear, and I do spar hard once a week, and it's heavy. It's heavy, man. So I would suggest once a week, no more sparring. Ooh, guy coming in hitting the super chat. What's up, guy? Saw you fight Benson. How was Dublin and the crowd? Yes, man. Yeah. So I fought Benson Henderson in Dublin, Ireland. And man, the crowd was awesome. By the time I fought, it was, the main event. So I feel like everybody was just twisted. Everybody was like tore up and been drinking all day, and the crowd was rowdy. Dublin was awesome, guy. I love Dublin. I hope to go back there. Dublin was sweet. Such a cool city, very unique. The food, the people. It was very cool. Very, very cool experience. I want to go back to Europe all around. Yeah, so I'm taking Burns, or sorry, I'm taking Usman over Burns. That's who I'm thinking is going to win on Fight Island. I might do a predictions video for that too, guys, as well for the YouTube fam, for anybody that didn't have a chance to join us today. So next fight, we got Jose Aldo versus Peter Yan. Obviously, Jose Aldo, possibly, I mean, you could say Jose Aldo is the best 145-pound champion. I know he got knocked out by Conor, but when it comes to straight up beating everybody, winning titles, undefeated for so long, Jose Aldo, man, is an animal. He's one of the best fighters to ever do it. But then you have Peter Yan on the other side of the cage. I just rewatched Peter Yan versus Uriah Faber. And granted, Uriah Faber is a little bit older in his career, but Uriah Faber, man, was fighting good in this fight. Like, he was mixing it up, looking for knees, takedowns, clinches. And Peter Yan's patience and his ability to he stays tight and throws everything so straight. Oh, man, it was super impressive. And Peter Yan's got power in his hands, man. And he's young and he's hungry. My pick for this fight, I'm interested to see who's going to push the other guy back. Because I really feel like if Peter Yan comes out and pushes Jose Aldo back, I feel like Peter Yan's going to have a great night. Remember, this is 5 rounds. This is a title fight. This isn't 3 rounds. This is 5 rounds. And I see Jose Aldo having good action with kicks and combinations. But Peter Yan just staying tight. I feel like Peter Yan's gonna push forward, is gonna do more damage on Aldo. So I'm gonna take Peter Yan in this fight. That's who I'm thinking. What do you guys think? Do you think Jose Aldo is going to run through Peter Yan, or do you think Peter Yan is the next big thing? Because they're pushing Peter Yan. UFC's pushing Peter Yan like he's the next guy to be the big champion. So Aldo, if he uses leg kicks, yeah. I mean, I could see Aldo definitely having if Aldo can go out there and outstrike Peter Yan, I feel like he's going to have a great night. He's going to beat him. Yan in 3. Yan fights bums, Aldo wins. Yan has beaten Jimmy Rivera, who's actually a really good fighter. Let me look up Peter Yan's record. We're going to look him up. So let's see who Peter Yan has actually beat. So he's 14-1. No mercy is what they call him. So Peter Yan has beaten Faber, Rivera. He's beaten Dotson too, guys. Peter Yan has beaten John Dotson, who's actually a really, really good fighter. So yeah, he's definitely good. He hasn't beaten anybody on Jose's caliber. So it's going to be a huge step up for him for sure. Experience-wise, goes to Jose. But I'm just thinking Yan walks him down, man. I don't know. I'd like to see the odds on this fight. I'd like to see the odds for sure. But I'm going to go with Yan. Eddie the Blassin coming in, not messing around. I think Eddie's taking out Alex today there for the Super Chat Championship. But Eddie, let's see what he's got to say. Eddie says, all those hands have been so nasty for so long. But now with all these well-rounded guys, isn't it time for him to mix in that world-class grappling? Great question and statement, Eddie. That's kind of a little wild card in this fight. I feel like when you watch somebody for so long and you see what they do, obviously Jose Aldo loves to strike, right? Everybody knows that. So if Jose Aldo came out and mixed in some takedowns, I think that would be a great wild card for him, Eddie. And I think it's always a good time to mix in that grappling, man. That's my take on fighting. I think maybe he could get Jan down, control him, mix it up a little bit. So yeah, Eddie, I think that's a great idea. I think he does need to mix in some grappling with Jan, because Jan, his striking's nasty, man. He's tough. He's heavy-handed. It's gonna be a good fight, though. I'll tell you that much. And shout out to Eddie for smashing that super chat, supporting the channel, supporting the YouTube fam. All right. So we have the last title fight on July 11th, UFC Fight Island, is Holloway and Alexander. This is a rematch. And I recently just watched their first fight. I think I like Max. You know, I think he's obviously done some great things. Watching their first fight and looking at it stylistically, man, I think Alex has his card, dude. I mean, Alex beating up the legs. And here's the thing is Alex has got that power factor. You know, you've seen it when Max fought Poirier, and you also seen it a little bit when Alexander and Max fought. Max, obviously, his volume and his speed, but when guys sit down and have that extra pop on them, Max gets hit a lot, and you can tell like that damage from the power really messes with Max a lot. And when you throw into the fact that Alexander mixes in the kicks, he trains with that great team, I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think it'll be more competitive this one because maybe Max has got a fire lit under his butt and he's gonna come out and wanna take his title back. But looking at it stylistically and looking at who I think is gonna win, I think Alexander's gonna get him again. That's my pick on this one. But it's going to be a great fight. I mean, their first fight was nasty, very technical, high volume, world-class fight. Mir says, nah. Who do you guys think is going to win? Do you think Max is going to beat him? Or do you think Alexander, the great Volkanovski, is going to win? And I believe I said that correctly. Volkanovski. So we think it's going to be a very different fight, more of a war. I could see these guys banging. Volkanovski takes it. Alex, Max is going to beat him. So it sounds like a little mixture. Max all the way. Yeah. I mean, I could see a case for both. But I just really think Warmir says the Blessed Express. Oh man, he thinks the Blessed Express is coming back. I'm interested to see it. Eddie says Max. So yeah, we're pretty split here on the channel, guys. We have a lot of people thinking Max and a lot of people thinking Alexander. So it's going to be a sick fight, though. I'm interested in that fight for sure. I think, I think Aldo and Jan, I think that's kind of the fight that's going to be the best. But I'm interested in Max as well, Max and Alexander. So great card though, guys. Going to Fight Island. I mean, that's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. So I want to talk 3 money mistakes before we get off the live stream today, guys. I want to talk about 3 money mistakes that I made in my 20s. Obviously, this channel, fighting, finance. So I always look to educate, inspire, and who knows, maybe entertain you guys a little bit. So let's end with a little bit of education today. So 3 money mistakes that I made in my 20s that cost me money. And I'm going to share the first one with you. The very first money mistake I made is when I started making money, when I was fighting, I went and I bought a 1970 GTO. I went and I paid, I believe, $17,000 cash for it. And I ended up putting, guys, probably $10,000 to $20,000 repairing it, time and everything into it. And I ended up selling it for 17. So I lost like almost 10 to 20 grand on this 1970 GTO. Now, I did get a chance to drive it. It was always my dream car. I loved GTOs. I always wanted a muscle car. But guys, it cost me money at the end of the day. That money that I spent on this GTO, I could have been buying rental properties. And it hurt when I sold it and I was losing 10 to 20 grand. It hurt, financially. And here's my choice. I could either sell it and take my loss, or I could continue pouring money into this that I might not ever get. So make sure when you guys are on the come up, you guys are trying to get financially in a better position. Don't buy a car. Don't buy a car that is going to cost you money every month. Don't buy a car. Don't buy an old car that you have to restore as well, because that's going to cost you money that you probably won't ever get back. The only way you buy an old car is if you work on old cars and you can do the work yourself and sell it and make money back. But man, that one cost me 10 to 20 grand. So, but here's the good news. When I sold the car, I took that money and I put it into other money to buy a rental property. So we still made out a little bit and learned from it. My second mistake, guys, that I made in my 20s financially is buying stuff in cash. Okay. So this goes back to education, guys. When you're financially trying to get better and you're trying to put yourself in a better financial position, education is huge. And in my 20s, I thought my intelligence, I was like, I'm just going to save money and buy my rental properties in cash. But it's because I didn't have the level of education to understand credit. I didn't have the education to understand debt. I didn't have the understanding the education to understand my cash on cash returns. All this stuff that you learn when you start investing and you start getting into investments. So by me buying stuff in cash, I was getting worse returns than I would have if I would have went to a bank and learned about getting loans on properties, getting financing, using other people's money is what they call it, guys. OPM, other people's money. So that was number two. And my third mistake that I've made in my 20s financially is lifestyle inflation. And this is kind of one of those things where I'm still dealing with this one, guys. Lifestyle inflation means, let's say my monthly expenses are, $500 to live, right? Let's say $1,000, right? $500 isn't that realistic. But then it's like I go get a nicer car. I go get a vacation home. I go get nice clothes. My expenses go up every month. So that's lifestyle and inflation. So in my 20s, I was living on a front room. I had low expenses. My expenses every month were like $1,000. And I started investing. But as soon as I started making more money, I was like, you know what? Let's go get our own apartment. Oh, you know what? Let's get another dog. Oh, you know what? Let's get a bigger TV. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. So my expenses went up, and that kind of ate into profits and being able to take that money and going to reinvest. So you have to understand, I'm not telling you guys to live below your means. No, don't do that. But make sure you just keep an eye on your expenses every month. Don't expand your means until you're ready to. So let me give you an example, right? So for me, I want to buy enough rental properties every month or every year to where then I can expand my means and I can have my expenses go up every month. But until then, until I invest that money first and get the returns and then use that, I don't want to do that. Okay. Don't go out and buy the new car first. Go out and buy the rental property, or go buy the part-time business that produces cash flow. Buy the asset first that produces cash flow, and then use that cash flow to go buy that new car, or to go buy that vacation rental home, or to pay for that trip to the Bahamas, whatever you want. Buy the asset first. So I spent money on a GTO that I lost 10 to 20 grand on. I bought stuff in cash in my 20s, thinking I was the man, thinking I knew everything. But if I would have learned about debt and other people's money, OPM, I could have had better returns. And then also too, lifestyle inflation over the years. From $1,000, now my expenses are over $5,000 a month. So I've let my lifestyle inflation creep up. So that's it. Those are 3 mistakes I made. J Blue 705, fist bump, boom, right there for you. Appreciate the support on the channel, crushing that super chat. Beat down. How much do you need to start off in rental properties? Beat down, great question. So I'm gonna answer your question with another question. What is your plan? Where are you trying to invest? How like what kind of property? I would ask. It depends on your budget. So how much do you need to start off in a rental property? For me, I bought stuff cash. But I've seen people start off with as little as $5,000. I might even do a video on how to buy your first property with $5,000 for the channel. But I mean, it can be anywhere from 5,000. Some people don't even need money to buy their first rental property. You know, so it's all in your own mind. It's all in your own plan. For me, I used $50,000 to buy my first rental property. I bought it in cash, 2012, and there's actually a video on this channel, Beatdown, where I talk about the first rental property that I bought. But that was my plan. I was just like, you know what? I'm making money right now. Instead of blowing it, I'm just going to take this money and I'm going to buy this rental property. But other people have plans. I mean, I've bought in a rental property Beatdown with $5,000 before, using an FHA loan, a government-backed loan, 5% down. So it just depends. It depends what your plan is and what your goal is, Beatdown. But great question. Alex, coming back in. Alex has got a question, and it's about Mike Perry. Did you know Mike Perry coming up? I think he's from Michigan too. Alex, I didn't know Mike Perry growing up, but I do know he's from Flint, Michigan. And Flint is, I know exactly where that's at. It's the north side. So you got Detroit right here, and Flint's up here. So Detroit's more south and Flint's north. And that's where Mike Perry comes from. And Flint's very, very tough neighborhood. Not a lot of opportunity there. So props to Mike Perry for making it where he has. All right, guys. So enjoyed everybody on the live stream today. Shout out. I'm gonna go through the super chats. It's either Alex or it's who else would it be? I gotta go through. It's either Alex or Eddie, I believe. Eddie the Blassin'. But I'll make sure to get you guys on the Super Chat Championship for an upcoming video. As always, man, what an awesome time this Wednesday chatting with everybody. This Sunday, we're going to go live again. So make sure you guys tune in and make sure to send me any comments, concerns for some videos coming up. Warmir says, where you at, Jose Armenta? I know, where's Jose at? He's been hitting me up on the gram a little bit. All right, later, guys. Have a great day. Happy hump day. I'll talk to everybody soon.